Good evening and welcome to the model shop annex, I guess you could call it. This model was a little bit too large to fit in the on the workbench to film, so I brought out the table out here in the basement, just next to the model room. And this is a little departure from my normal O scale or HO or even T scale modeling. This is a 28 millimeter model, which is a war game scale. It roughly is about 1 to 56 scale, although this building is extremely selectively compressed, as are most of the scenery buildings in that scale. My son plays miniature tabletop war games, and I built this for him. For his Christmas present, we gave, my wife and me, but I built it. She helped me put it in a box. We gave him a ruined city made out of similar materials. He's doing all the painting himself, so this is just the raw building, unpainted. And this is actually a model, rough model, again, very selectively compressed model for wargaming of the Reichstag building in Germany, in Berlin, in 1945, when it was, destroyed by the attacking Russian forces. The Germans had holed up in the building, and I believe there was a fairly large battle around the Reichstag. And there's a famous World War II photo of a Russian soldier hoisting the hammer and sickle over the Reichstag. So this is for his wargaming. It's a laser cut out of 3 millimeter MDF. This is the material. You can see there's a laser cut piece. You can find these files for sale online. The ruined city was actually only about $4 for, dozens and dozens of buildings. This was a little bit more expensive. I think this might have been about $20 for the file. And at first, when he kind of asked me to build it with a little pressure from my wife, over as kind of like another building for the ruined city. And I said, oh, yeah, sure, no problem. I'll just one building. I'll just, sure, knock it out. And this actually took a lot longer to build and to cut. And I believe maybe even more materials than I used for the abandoned city or the ruined city. So the ruined city took up this entire tabletop here. But again, you can see this is a fairly large structure. It's designed again for wargaming. So for 28 millimeters, which are in that scale, 28 millimeters, which is a little bit over an inch. It's maybe like an inch and an eighth or inch and a quarter. That represents a 6 foot tall person. So probably about that big, or would be a human being in this scale. Although they play with mechanized figures and all kinds of fantasy. I believe he's playing a game right now. It's Dust, I think it is, or a derivative of the Dust world, which is, I think if World War II didn't end and there was like a kind of a high technology, like robot infused war that continued on with these mechanoids and all other kind of like advanced, equipment. And it's a fantasy slash semi-historical game. But I believe, I'm not sure, but he plays a lot of other World War II 28 miniature games that are more realistic and stuff. So it could be for one of those, or it could just be for anything really. He plays BattleTech too, so it could be used for that. Anything with 28 millimeter scale. So you can see the back of it is a false, it's showing it like a front of the structure. And it's the back here would be where you could put figures. And there's all kinds of rules, I believe, in how you move the figures. And, if they have to move up a floor, you have only so much movement per turn. You roll the dice sometimes to figure that out. And so the figures would move, they would expend as much as moving, let's say 6 inches on the board to move up a set of stairs or something. So there's positions in the firing positions, and I guess there's all kinds of modifiers for cover. So this would be considered firing from a covered position, I guess, if you were fighting outside this building. The towers don't have any floors on the sides, but the tops do open. So I guess the presumption would be you get from this floor to that floor is how you would end up in the tower there. And then there's the rooftops and everything else. So again, it was a fun structure to build. It was a little complicated. I wouldn't say even if you had done these before that it was that simple just because of how it was designed. It was worth every bit of the $20. The designer on this put a lot of work in this, designing this structure. And those stairs are actually all individual pieces of laser cuts that are just stacked. I kind of modeled the doors as blown in and wrecked, and you can see all the bomb holes and shell holes in the structure. But it's not meant to be a perfect scale model. It's meant to actually be durable because it gets moved around a lot, and just to use as a prop for playing a game. So again, you're not like model railroading. You're not going for perfect scale. Although it is, if you look at the pictures of the real structure, it's not too bad. Again, very selectively compressed. It's actually 5 separate buildings. The towers are separate, and then the middle sections are separate, and then the center. And I actually glued the 2 end sections together so you can see, well, that comes off the roof. And you can see how the construction is all tab, and that it's held together with ACC, i.e. super glue. And again, he's going to have to paint it, so there's plenty of work involved with that, I would think. Although again, looks pretty neat. So thanks for watching. Just a little diversionary project that I'm pretty happy with how it came out. Take care. Thanks for watching.